Welcome to Blinkers Off with your hosts, Jared Welch and Aaron Halterman.
Hello. What is up? I'm Jared Welch. He's Aaron Halterman. It is Thursday, September 4th, and this is Blinkers Off. What's up, my man?
Yeah, what's up, man? First week without Saratoga. At least we still have Del Mar going, and Kentucky Downs, I guess, picks up the slack, right? Not too bad. 6 stakes on Saturday, all worth at least $2 million. So no rest. We're right back at it.
Yep, we closed down Saratoga. Got Del Mar closing here, and yeah, like you said, it's funny. These are like just Kentucky Downs it's just like a enigma. It just nothing like it. Like it just doesn't exist anywhere else where you can have, like what other place could Clever Again run for $2.5 million, or $2 million or whatever it is. Like that's just maybe at a time we thought that was possible, but not so much anymore. But here we are, and what an opportunity to for some of these connections to get a huge payday.
Absolutely right. I mean, crazy that that race we'll talk about. It's going to be a lot of fun. There's really, like, you look at last week, like the Nashville Derby. How many times are those horses running for 3.5 million?
Burnham Square runs second, right? Like in a $3 million race on the turf. Like, I mean, hello,
Yeah. Crazy.
Can't sniff the winner's circle in these, like as far as the higher level competition goes, and on the dirt and the Triple Crown Trail, and yeah, here we are. He ran well, so Sandman did not.
Yeah, it's fun to see how this track has kind of progressed, and it really. They always gave away pretty good purses, but it was kind of just you just kind of like it is what it is. They didn't really bring like really great horses there. And over the years, it's gotten better and better, and the horse quality's gotten better and better. And they're on television, like national television, too. They're able to get that secured. That's something. Even Del Mar, I don't think, was national televised last week. So, they're doing a good job there. I don't know really how they're providing these kind of purses, but, for a gambler, it's great because you're getting really, really strong fields and good betting races.
People love those slot machines, man. Kentucky.
Yep.
That's I like doing something. On Sunday I wasn't home and I was out, and someone had a restaurant or something and had a TV on, and I was like, oh shit, that's Kentucky Downs.
Mm-hmm.
They just had it national, it was on NBC or whatever. It's like, oh shit, that's cool.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm not sure how they pulled that off, but maybe there's apparently nothing else to watch on Sunday. But, take advantage of it before football starts, which, by the way, tonight, football is officially back. Tomorrow night, Chiefs play. Obviously, that I'm excited for that. Obviously, college football has started, but it's officially here. Finally.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it was here Travers Day at noon Eastern time. That football was back. Tremendous first week of college football. And the NFL overreactions will start here. First week coming up, big games, and your Chiefs over in Brazil for the first game coming up tomorrow night. And I guess I didn't realize it. That's on regular YouTube. Is that correct? Like, it's just on regular YouTube, I think.
I assumed it was on. I haven't looked at where it's going. Is it real? Is it only on YouTube?
That's where it's listed. Yeah,
that's
just
lovely.
YouTube.
Well, thankfully it's not like Peacock or something where it's like you have to have Peacock to watch it. But they tried that once or twice over the last. But I don't know. I'll be watching it though either way. I think it'll be a good game. It's always hard to have any idea of like you said, the kind of reflex reactions for the first couple weeks of the football season, especially for the really good teams that have good or tough matchups for the first several weeks, so you just kind of got to get through those weeks. The Chiefs' early schedule is not easy. So, but it's still fun to have it back. And any bold predictions before we get on to horse racing from like teams that no one likes, you like?
I like Carolina a little bit. I think they're going to be better. I think they might sneak into the playoffs.
Does that mean you like Bryce Young?
I think Bryce Young if he can build on the second half of last year, I think he could be NFL quarterback. That's not terrible. That's for sure. And I think the sleeper team to win the Super Bowl, I think will be the Texans. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean I think they're going to do it, but I think if you're going to take a shot at a price, they're the team to take.
I know you like the Texans. We talked a lot about the Texans on our trip. I don't think, kind of depends, I think, on if we can get CJ somewhere in between CJ first year one and year two. I think maybe some health, right, on the receivers standpoint. That'd be huge. Mixon, is getting old. He's out for however long at the start of the season. Texans are good though. They got great defense, so that's always keep them close. I feel like if I keep picking the Packers, eventually they'll get to the Super Bowl. I almost feel like I like them every year. This, obviously getting Micah Parsons will help the defense, but I feel like they've got too much. They're too young, too talented, too good coaching to not pull through one of these years. But at the same time, I have zero confidence in him and the team / Jordan Love. So I like the team. I think they're competitive in pretty much in every game. It's hard to trust them, but I do feel like they could get the job done one of these years and kind of sneak up and do it. At least go in the playoffs. Because I think I'm nervous about the Lions. Kind of feel like last year may have been their year. Eagles will still be tough, obviously. I think Eagles will probably have a very kind of like the Chiefs of the NFC. Just I think they're going to be really tough to knock off that to get back there.
Yeah, NFC's it's going to be tough to get around the Eagles. I think they're the team to beat for sure, and that's not saying anything. They won the Super Bowl. I low key kind of like the Vikings again. I kind of think JJ McCarthy might be okay. He kind of played an NFL system in college. I think that might help. I'm not in on the Packers. I think they're overvalued. The Lions are weird. Maybe if they stay healthy, they can kind of repeat, but I kind of think they're going to take a little bit of a step backwards. So yeah, I think the Eagles are the team to beat. And look, I think we talked about it. I think the AFC, the Ravens, top to bottom roster wise, I think they're the best team. It's just, can you trust them to win a big game when it's close? And that's where I kind of have a problem there. But their roster to me looks pretty darn good.
The AFC is difficult for me to get past, like, one of kind of the same teams, right?
Same
like,
three. Yep.
Like where the Ravens, the Chiefs, the Bills, and I mean, I guess the Bengals. I mean, if you want to, they've got, like, when they have Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, it's hard. I mean, they're capable, right? I like Chase Brown a lot. I think he's really solid. Defensively, they're not good at all. Offensive line is an issue. But they've got Joe Burrow. So, they're always going to be a threat. I feel like, well, just like as long as the Chiefs have Mahomes, they'll be a threat.
Yeah.
But Bills, Ravens, Chiefs. I mean, it's kind of hard for me to go past like one of those three because they got the three best quarterbacks,
Yeah.
like they're just that. It's going to be hard. Like if you are a Broncos or, like you mentioned, a Texans, sure, like maybe you have a run, but that means you've got to kind of, how hard was it for the Chiefs to go into Baltimore, go into Buffalo, and win those games? It's going to be hard for a Bo Nix or a CJ Stroud, say, for instance, have to go into Baltimore, have to go into Buffalo, just as an example, to actually get, beat multiple of those kind of quote unquote big dogs. So that's going to be the tough. It's not just Patrick. It's a whole crew.
Well, the key to the Texans season is they have the weakest division. So they need to get that 1 or 2 seed where they don't have to go into all those places.
Correct.
That's the key. And that's what they weren't able to do last year. And that's what you're going to have to do. You're going to have to get one of those games at home, if not both of them. And then, you're looking at something that's a little bit better. I mean, you look at CJ Stroud, he almost went into Kansas City and won. It was just one of those things. That another close game, the Chiefs won, but they played very well that day. So I think people look at the Texans and they look at the first, 12 games of the season and go, boy, they underachieved. When you really start to look at the end of the season and how they played in the playoffs, they won a playoff game as well. That kind of was what we thought we would see all year. So if they can put that together for a full season, maybe they can get a little bit better positioning, and maybe they are hosting the Chiefs in round 2 or the Buffalo in round 2 or somebody like that, and maybe they can win that game. But again, they're kind of the price team that I like, but it's clear the best 3 teams are the 3 teams that have been there for the AFC.
I'll tell you one thing. My CJ Stroud rookie card investments would not hate a CJ Stroud Super Bowl run. Like I think that would do very well for him and me financially, because I did, that's the whole reason I invested in him as a rookie, because I thought this guy, and a little bit like Jaden too, right? Where I feel like these guys aren't just like these flash in the pan rookies. It kind of feels like they have a career in front of them. And so, and I feel like that way with Jaden, frankly, as well. And I think to your point, we don't know, right? JJ McCarthy could be anything. What if he has a Jaden like season? I think the Vikings as a whole are a better team than, say, the Commanders were. And if JJ is just halfway decent, they still be very tough, because you got, the Vikings over the years have not had exceptional quarterback play and have still managed to win games because they have guys like Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, and, the slew of running backs they've had through there, and a good defense.
I think he can be as good as Sam Darnold, don't you? Like, that's kind of where I'm at with the Vikings. Like, people are worried about the Vikings. I'm like, well, I mean, I don't know what McCarthy's going to be, and hey, he may be worse, right? But I mean, they made Sam Darnold look pretty good last year. So I really think he's in a really, really good spot to where if he's not very good this year, it's probably just that he's not going to be able to make it type of thing, So I'm not worried about him that much. No, look, the only thing I worry about with Daniels is him getting hurt, because he does play a certain style where that could happen. But no, he looked great. He'll probably take a little step back that second year, but I still think they'll be pretty good.
All right, guys, season starts tonight. Can't wait, but let's get into today's show. We have a big show ahead of us for it being kind of a lower down week in terms of no Saratoga, but we had the billing of all billing last weekend, Pacific Classic, Jockey Club Gold Cup, and let's just say they delivered kind of, and at least from a standpoint of we have a ton to unpack here. So we're going to talk about the Breeders Cup preps race, the classic prep races from last weekend. That's Fierceness in the Pacific Classic, Antiquarian winning the drama filled Jockey Club Gold Cup at Saratoga. Then we're going to look at Kentucky Downs for this weekend. Huge card on Saturday at Kentucky Downs, including the $2.5 million Kentucky Turf Cup Invitational, which is a Breeders Cup win you're in for the Longines Turf. So let's go. Yeah, if you miss this weekend's racing, I mean, maybe great. I mean, I had to take a little bit of a breather after Jockey Club. I was like, all right, I need a second here, because this is just like those 2 races had so much hype going into them, and you kick things off with Nisos scratching that, then you're like, no, of course, and then of course, kind of what you feared would happen, and that's Fierceness doing a Fierceness thing, and he runs off the screen basically. That happens, and then of course, mind frame, that whole deal, and it's just you kind of left the whole weekend like, what did we learn? Did we learn anything from that? I don't think so.
I mean, it's racing. I certainly didn't have to take a mental break. I've seen it enough, so it's just racing.
Never boring.
I really wasn't surprised by any of it, to be quite honest.
Dude, there's no way you had Irad Ortiz riding a different horse out of the gate of the Jockey Club on your bingo card.
I didn't at all, but I remember Fort Larned after he won the Breeders' Cup. I can't remember what race it was. He was running loose out on the track. And I thought back then, 10 years ago, whatever it was, wow, this is insane. It's like, then you watch racing. It's like, no, it happens all the time. So, but no, the Irad thing was, I've never seen 2 jockeys on one horse. That is true.
That was insane. All right, we'll kick things off for Saturday racing at Del Mar. Of course, it was the Grade 1 Pacific Classic. Like I said, Nisos in the morning scratch with a foot issue. Apparently, he's okay. He's going to run, here in a few weeks again. We'll see what actually happens with him. Bob Baffert is maybe going to pivot and go to the dirt mile with him. Again, one of those horses that he's had all kinds of health issues over his career. Wouldn't be surprised if he never runs again. Wouldn't be surprised if he wins the dirt mile. Either one of those would not be shocking. But he scratches from the race, which leaves us with fierceness versus journalism. And Halterman, that's pretty much exactly what we got. I'll start the replay here. I'll let you kind of give your thoughts.
Oh, well, the critical thing happens 5 seconds into the race, so keep an eye here on the one horse. And I think Tarantino, the 8's going to struggle to load here for a second, unless you fast forwarded it just a little bit. You didn't, yeah, because I did the same thing when I did my video recap on the YouTube page. But don't worry, folks, he'll load here in a second. It gives you time to focus on the one horse here. Fierceness is going to duck to the left. He's going to duck to the temporary rail. He runs to the empty space. That's what horses like to do. As a 4-1 free pick winner just came in at Kentucky Downs. They're off. All right, so there you go. Coming right here. Boom. There he goes. He's going to jump the rail. Johnny V has to keep him from hitting the rail and killing himself. So then here's what happens. Everything we were told about Fierceness that he hates happens. Okay. He can't have trouble early in the race. Well, that was a lot of trouble. And he can't be in behind horses. That'll freak him out. Okay, he's in behind all of them but one, because one jockey's a fucking moron. And so then we're still in behind all the horses here. And again, this is Todd Pletcher. This is Johnny V saying this is we figured him out. We got to just keep him away from everybody and keep him on the inside. Well, I mean, on the outside, I should say. Well, he's screwed, right? He's screwed the whole race. And I'm thinking, well, he's not going to fire. The jockey and trainer told me that they can't fire, right? When this happens. And he does fire. And not only does he fire, he splits rivals. And we've always heard, oh, we have to just keep him out away from everybody. He shot through 2 horses like they're standing still. Guys, they have no idea what this horse is going to do every time he enters. There is no answers. There's no, oh, the jockey did a great job. The jockey did this or that. He just does whatever the hell he wants to do. And you just never know.
I mean, look where he's at. There's no chance in every race of his, this spot, he's going to do what he just does here in a second.
Based on everything, the physical human beings that take care of this horse day in and out said, he has no chance in this race. And he runs the best race of his career. One of the best. He's ran a lot of good ones, but one of the best races of his career. I mean, you can't predict him. You need to quit being like Magic and just saying he sucks and throw him out every race. And then you got to quit saying he's a superstar. He's just a sporadic, crazy horse. And you just never know. You just got to play him defensively. I don't care what the odds are. I don't care about anything. Put him on a ticket, but don't put him where he can beat you if he runs one of his shitty races, right? So he ran great. I mean, there's nothing to really analyze. He just absolutely destroys them with a less than ideal trip.
I like, look. I mean, first, before I get on the fierceness train here, like, and again, and I won't even get into the ride, or at least I will at the moment. Journalism has just got to be one of the most tough luck horses that we've seen in forever. Like, he probably could have won the Triple Crown, right? If not for one horse. He wins the Haskell. He could have won this. I mean, look, he's 10 lengths ahead of third place, whoever the hell that was that finished third, except for one horse who freaks in fierceness. Now, there could be, obviously the jockey and why he was so far back, and there's different things there that we can get into in a second. But there's another second place finish in the Grade 1 Pacific Classic now to go with his second place finish in the Kentucky Derby and his second place finish in the Belmont Stakes, along with his first place win in the Preakness. Those, I mean, just a horse that showed up each and every start, but yet doesn't have a lot to show for it.
Can you scroll back to where they crossed the wire the first time?
Yes.
And yeah, it's up here. Just kind of maybe pause it when it's close. It doesn't have to be exact. I want to point something out. So Fierceness is, like I said, he's like second to last, third to last here. Yeah, right there's fine, or wherever. What are we doing on journalism back there? Like, what are we? And again, I don't know. I'm sitting here saying I'm not sure he would have won, because when Fierceness runs that top race, it's really, really tough to beat him. And I'm not saying journalism would have won, but journalism from this spot has no chance to beat a Fierceness horse that's going to run his A race. Now, if he runs like shit, which I totally thought he was going to do at this point, I still was a kind of like, well, I think maybe journalism just doesn't want to run anymore. And then he just makes a circus move around the top of the stretch and flies by all those horses like they're standing still. And I'm just sitting there going, I think it's time to replace this jockey finally. Like I'm in that camp now. Because here's
Yeah.
the deal. The margin for error is not there when you get in these types of races. And you just can't let this happen. And I don't care. I'm sure there's excuses from the jockey or this or that. And I know Samich was like, well, they were going really fast. I don't care. You got to, this horse is not Zenyatta. Like, this horse is not Sierra Leone. This horse has early foot. Get him into the race. And I don't know what he was doing here. So I like Umberto Rispoli. There are situations where I love to have the horse that he's on. I think he's a good jockey. I don't think he's a good jockey for this horse. I'm sorry. Like, and look, it's too many times after the race we've sat here and went, man, I don't know about what he just did. I thought the Belmont he rode really well. The Haskell, he kind of got him too far behind, but I don't think the horse really ran that well that day and won. This race, it's like you're never, like, imagine if Nisos was in this race.
Yeah.
You're never going to get him from here.
It's exactly what I was going to say. Like, I mean, we didn't have Nisos, but imagine if Nisos was in the race, he's probably sitting kind of like right in this region here. And now you're talking, he's got to go. Now he's spotting not only Journal or Fierceness, but he's also spotting Nisos, 8 links plus. And it's just not something you can do. And it's not like they were going, I mean, sure, they're going quick, but it's not like that. I mean, that's Del Mar. They're not going, it's exceptional. They're not going 21.
Yeah.
It's just, he kind of, and I've noticed that, and I don't know if it's the horse, if it's the jockey, if it's a combination of the two. And sometimes that's just a bad fit. Some great jockeys aren't great fit. Like Johnny Velasquez is just so good with Fierceness for multiple reasons, but that's a different story. But like, there's been multiple times in the Preakness. The Belmont wasn't so much, but the Haskell, where it's like he's got it, like he's just like really, the horse just seems like very lazy early in the races. Like he's not. And I don't know. Again, I don't know if it's the jockey's not riding properly. The horse is tired. He's not. He's obviously got guts. He's very gritty. He makes his run every time. He never doesn't show up.
No.
But it just seems like more times than, like you said, it's kind of been a broken cycle where it's like, or broken record where it's like, what's the story? Well, journalism was pretty far back, and then he makes this big move, and then just think about it. Like, shit, it took the exact same run, only you didn't have to run down Fierceness, a horse like Fierceness or a horse like Sovereignty to win the Haskell and the Preakness. If one of those caliber horses were in those races, he wasn't winning those races either, based on the run he had.
It's perfectly said. And we said it after the race too. I remember we were together at the Preakness. After the Preakness, we were like, thank God it was Gosker up there. He never would have caught him. I mean, it was a monster, unbelievable effort, but thank God he had to run him down. Look, you look back at the whole body of work, right? Okay, first race, was great, whatever. Second race was the Santa Anita Derby, where he let Barnes mess with him for 3/4 of the race, even though he outbroke almost everybody, right? And it's like, well, yeah, that's Baffert's fault and all this stuff. Well, it's also Rispoli's spot a little bit for keeping him in that position, not using his horse to just get away, and almost got beat by a horse that's inferior to him. Now, not by much, but he is, right? That also at Baeza at that time, making his first stakes race, he still almost got beat by him. The Derby, a lot of people think he moved too soon. I kind of think that was fine. The Derby's that's a hard race. He turned for home and looked like he was going to win. I'm not going to give him hell for that. The Preakness was just, that's when he should have been fired. A horrific situation. The Belmont, I thought it was great. I didn't think the Haskell was very good. And then this may have been worse than the Preakness because he gave this horse zero chance. And I'm sorry, you just can't do that. Like, look at the gap. He makes up some ground on Fierceness, but you're not going to make up ground. And if this horse was a Sierra Leone type, I get it, but he's not. Ask him to get in position out of the gate. Try that and see what happens,
And the thing is, like, look how fast they go. Like, let's go back after the half or the quarter. So he makes up a ton of ground here.
Yeah.
from here and he gets it within the group. But look how fast they went in that time period, which means he had to make a move up into that speed as well. And so obviously the horse is going to be a little cooked when they get to the, towards the end of the race, like he was, because now he's gotten closer. And here in a second, after the half comes up, he's pretty much within contact with the rest of the group. And they went sub 46, and so obviously they were flying, and yet he had to get his horse into position to be in a position to run right in the final turn. And so being that far back early in the races is taking not it's not helping that he's facing horses like Fierceness, Freaky, and Sovereignty, but it's got to be taking some starch out of him in that final kind of part of the race, right? You would think.
I think it absolutely is. And Christopher makes a good point. He said journalism middle move at the half-mile marker to a blazing pace. And he was flying here, but it's like, okay, so I just kind of move my hands on him and he can fly by these horses. Well, here's an idea. Get him in a little bit of position early. To me, he looks like a horse that'll shut off when you tell him to shut off, and he'll go when you tell him to go. I don't know. Listen, and I'm not a jockey and never will be, and I would break my neck if I was on him for a second, but it's also it's not my job to be a jockey either, right? Look, I just think I don't own him, but I just think if I owned him, I couldn't watch this shit. I just couldn't. And I really think the owner was pissed after the race, but he was classy, and that's smart and that's good. But I don't know. I couldn't own one like this and not try to do something different. I just couldn't.
Now with all that being said,
look at him gallop out ahead, but it does. I mean, that doesn't make any difference, but it does show you he's got energy. So anyway,
all that being said, he still had to run down. Like he would have still won if Fierceness would have been, let's just say, done his Whitney thing.
Yes.
So he still would have won.
Yes.
We've been sitting there talking more about Fierceness being Fierceness and less about the trip on journalism.
Yes.
So let's talk a little bit about why Fierceness didn't do what he did in the Whitney. Whitney was a way better trip. He didn't do that dumb shit. He didn't get behind horses. He looked 1-9 at the top of the stretch. He had like close to a 3-length lead, and then he just quit. Here, he's like you said, he has that issue. He's tucked behind horses. He's got all kinds of issues. He splits horses. They're going fast. And he runs away. Like, how can you? I mean, I texted you after the race and was kind of like, listen, and I kind of knew it before, but you just don't do anything with them in races. You don't even have to handicap them. It doesn't matter if they're on the turf, on the dirt, they're going 6 furlongs, or going 1.5 miles. You just put them in. You use them, and that's it. And because there's no like, now granted, John Velasquez, amazing job even staying on the damn horse out of the gate, because that was insane. But what bad rides has John had on him ever? It's not. So it's. I mean, you give credit to him for that, but this is a horse that's just doing whatever the hell he wants each and every time, and it makes no sense to be like, well, I knew he was going to fire today. You didn't know he was going to fire today. No one knows when he's going to fire. That's why you just got to use him and move on.
You said it. I mean, you're so good about what you said there. It's you. If you go back to the Whitney. The comments after the Whitney, if you remember, there was a horse going out there way too fast, and then the rabbit missed the break. And then what happened was Fierceness was sitting outside of every horse's, away from everybody. The rabbit flies by him in like a second, and then they blame the whole race on that rabbit flying by this horse, and it just threw him all off. And I'm like, that didn't do anything to that horse. Are you kidding? Like, that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. But again, because of how crazy he's been, you almost buy into it. You go, okay, now all you have to do, you just got to keep him away from everybody and do what that rabbit didn't cause him shit that day. And I said it after the race. It was like people bought into it. I'm like, guys, one horse just blowing by you, and that's not a thing. And then this happens, and like you said it, there was 3 million reasons why he doesn't fire based on all we know about him in this race, and he does.
Listen, and by the way, Tony, no, I don't. He's not a star, but he's certainly capable of running like a star. The reason why I say he's not a star is because he's not dependable. Stars are dependable. I think but here's the thing. He can win any race on any day. At his top talent, he's can win any race. He can win the Classic. He damn near won the Classic last year.
Yep.
And he can win the Classic in a couple months. And I wouldn't be shocked at all. I also wouldn't be shocked if he finishes 5th or 6th. Like, that's the thing about him. Why I think, like, he's got star power. He's got star ability. He's got elite talent. I legitimately think he can beat Sovereignty if he runs like a Fierceness-esque race. Like, he's that good. But he also could get his ass beat too, and either one wouldn't surprise me. So that's, to me, what the difference between a star, an elite horse, and a horse that's just capable of running huge races.
I actually disagree with Tony in a different scenario. I don't think he's a star. I think he's a superstar. He's one of the best horses I've ever seen when he fires. If this horse would run that race every time, he'd be one of the best horses we've ever seen. I think he makes gamblers so furious.
Yeah, right here.
And that is why they won't say things like, yeah, no, this guy's a star. I'm telling, like, his Breeders' Cup Juvenile, I've never seen a race like that in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile ever. I mean, maybe Uncle Mo, right? Uncle Mo was pretty incredible when he won it. That comes to mind. Maybe I'm forgetting, somebody. I'm trying to think back, but I mean, that was just an incredible race. The Florida Derby was an incredible, incredible race. The Travers last year was massive.
Yeah.
The Breeders' Cup Classic last year was massive. He lost.
The pace he put up, though, and then held on was insane.
I mean, this horse is a freaking superstar who also can't beat $50,000 claimers in other races. That's the thing. And I see comments on here talking about the Whitney. That's the most infuriating thing when you look at the Whitney or you look at the Kentucky Derby, where he gets perfect trips. He's rounding the corner. He looks like he's going to win. The Whitney looks like he's going to win by 6, and he's off the board. Like, I think who did John? There's somebody from the DRF that John White's said that they described him as a horse racing or a horse schizophrenic.
Schizophrenic, yeah.
And I'm sorry, I don't remember who it was, but that said it. But yeah, Brad Free maybe. I can't remember, but it doesn't matter. He's a schizophrenic.
Yeah, he is, and just like a human schizophrenic, they're unpredictable, right? You don't know how they're going to be, and you just gotta assume anything's possible. And so that's the case. So kind of moving forward, obviously Fierceness heading to the Classic, not a real shock there. Connection still saying that journalism likely will be going to the Classic, although I kind of floated out the idea, got a lot of traction on X or Twitter, like, what if they cut him back to the dirt mile or something like that? But I mean, he's earned the right to go to the Classic, but it's just tough when you have consistently been beat by, better horses, like Fierceness and Sovereignty, and they're both obviously aiming for that race as well. So it's tough. It's kind of hard to imagine him turning the tables on multiple of those horses, but they are going to the Classic. Nysos, again, wasn't in the race. We'll see what they end up doing. I mean, I think first things we got to see him in a race, right? And see if he's, if he's healthy. You said this, gosh, wasn't even last week. You maybe did say it last week, but you've been saying it for multiple weeks. When we've talked about Nysos, you've been like, dude, let's just wait and see if he even gets there, for a horse that's had that much issues. And you're right. Like, he may not have I wouldn't be surprised. I think it's more as likely 50-50 that we'll even see him again this year.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. I think if I hate to say this, but I think Nysos probably won't be the other kind of defection from this thing, right? And I think if journalism's healthy by the time we get there, I really think it's his old buddy Sovereignty that he's going to have to worry about the most, and of course, going to have to worry about if Fierceness fires a big race. But I think he's going to fit. I understand the dirt mile talk. I understand that, hey, he doesn't want to go a mile and a quarter talk because he can't win at that distance, right? But he's also getting beat by pretty good horses. He's running pretty well. I get it, but I think they'll keep him there. I do want to mention one thing. I know we need to move on. Patrick says, if you ever considered the fact he's talking about Fierceness, he might have a problem like breathing sometimes. I do not buy into the fact he has a mental problem. So what I'll tell you is it's a really good point and a really good kind of thought, question, whatever. We kind of have connections with the Pletcher barn. We kind of know there isn't a physical problem there. Unless they're lying, which they could be lying, but
we've had like literally, I mean, not, Pletcher didn't text me, but like someone talked to Pletcher and then while they were standing there text me and said he can't lose today. Like he is going to run off the screen.
Yeah.
And he doesn't even hardly finishes the race. And then in literally the same situations, he's iffy on him at all. Like he didn't even want to run him. He's got this, got that. He wins. And so that, I mean, the trainer literally has no clue. And I honestly think if it wasn't for being owned by Rapoli, like who knows, right? Like he probably wouldn't have shipped into Pacific Classic. I know that much.
No.
And so him being it may be the perfect horse for Rapoli because he just can throw him in any race and not be afraid to run because he knows he can win any of them.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. I remember his first race as a 3-year-old. They were like, he's a different horse. Like, forget about what happened in the Champagne. It was just a weird thing. He's training like a monster. And we're like, okay. And he was so bad in that race. And then all the weeks leading up to the Florida Derby and even into the Florida Derby, they're like, look, they're just trying it just for the hell of it. He hasn't worked out at all. I mean, he's worked out, but he hasn't looked good. I think he's just flamed out. And then he runs off the screen. And that's
Fierceness, their formerly, best horse. They weren't even there. Yeah. They stayed home for Mindframe, which we'll get to here. Which, by the way, I don't know if anybody's watched it, but on FanDuel, there was like they were interviewing Rapoli, and then did you see that before the race? Which whatever. But after the race, after he wins, Todd Pletcher's comes on with him because they were watching it together at their house or at Rapoli's house, and Todd is just like he's like the weirdest dude. Like I knew that already, but like they win the race, and he's just like, cool, and then like there's like zero emotions from this guy. Like he is just he's like a robot. Like I mean, I think he's a good guy. I'm not shitting on him, but he just has like he just doesn't know up or down, right? It just stays level headed the whole time.
I think you have to be in this game. I think this is how you have to be. Because they'll break your heart just as easy. You got to think in the Whitney that day, that'd be the lowest of the lows if you're a real emotional person, So it was he's always a little bit awkward for sure.
Yeah, nice guy, dork. Yeah, I agree. He's kind of dorky, but you know what? I'd like to have him as my trainer. That's for sure. So
yeah, for sure.
All right. Speaking of so we had the highs of highs for Rapoli and connections. Although Todd did win this one, but let's talk about Rapoli. Not necessarily here. So I'll set it up before we even go. This is the Jockey Club Gold Cup the next day on Sunday. Race 5 early on the card. Here we go. Sierra Leone versus Mindframe. We get another, kind of heavyweight battle here. And Halterman, this ended before it started. Somehow, some way, the horse racing gods decided, let's basically take out the two favorites of the race. One of them by the jockey falling off, which I can laugh about it now because he's fine. He's okay. Thank God.
Yeah, he's right.
The other one, and the other one will have that horse run over him. Okay. Yeah. That's basically what happened here. I'll get it going right now. So we'll get he's number 4. That's Mindframe. And it's really started from the 7 coming over and everyone kind of got sandwiched. Gets knocked, boom. I mean, that's now, holy shit. And there you go. And Mindframe's off. Irad's off. They had to literally carry him off to get, because he's still on the track. They had to come back around.
Yeah.
Sierra Leone had to kind of like curve around, break stride to try to not hit him on the ground. Meanwhile, the Rabbit takes off. Philly's Fog, who kind of created the whole thing. And Antiquarian goes on to win this race in that 4th spot. I mean, there's really not much you can do. I'll say this. Antiquarian ran a nice race. He did. He ran a 108 buyer for the race. He ran solid. He ran the race you specifically you were hoping he would finally run. Mm-hmm. the unfortunate part is we didn't really get to see. Well, we certainly didn't get to see what Mindframe could do, and Sierra Leone was, definitely hampered by the start of the race.
Yeah, I think Antiquarian certainly deserves a little bit of credit. I want to start with that because he took the turns better. He was still kind of squirrely down the lane. It's like looking at the crowd and stuff, but at least he was able to get the job done. So I do want to give him credit. Sierra Leone, I do think was hampered. I watch it back a lot of times. I still don't know if Sierra Leone's going to get there, even if he didn't have to do kind of the dodging, jumping over Irad there, but. Maybe it would have been closer, I think, for sure. But anyway, the mind frame thing is I've never seen two guys on one horse before. That getting on Wide Barrio. And by the way, Irad grabs Edgar Zayas on Wide Barrio and kept him aboard.
Yeah.
If you go back, he really grabbed him and made sure
he's going over, and then he pulls him back.
Yeah.
While he's going back over.
Yep, and he's got a hold of Mindframe, and I could see what he was trying to do. He's like, I'm going to balance myself on this horse here and try to jump back over on Mindframe. That's impossible to do, but he damn near did it. I thought he was going to pull it off.
Dude,
honestly.
he did that. That would have been the most athletic move of any sport of all time.
Oh, it would have been unbelievable. And I give him a whole lot of credit because he's still a very athletic move to, almost pull it off. And then, thank God he didn't get stepped on, because I really, when I saw it live, I thought, oh my God, I was thinking the worst, because Sierra Leone stepping right on you, I would imagine would not feel great. So would have been amazing. Look, what do you take from this race? I'm not really sure. I will say this. I hate this for Mindframe. I think he needed this race, so I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with him moving forward. I don't know. I hate that for Mindframe. I think they're just going to go right to the Classic with that after that race. I don't think that's great. I don't think that's going to be ideal.
No, but yeah, that's the plan. They're going right to the Classic. Obviously, Sierra Leone's going to the Classic out of that race. Not too much of an issue for him, but yeah, that part for Mindframe. Now, I guess on the plus side, he did run,
Yeah. The other thing, and Kendrick Carmouche gets suspended, and I think that should have happened for sure. I've seen a lot worse than that happen and not have this happen, It's just one of those weird things. But yeah.
It was almost like Irad just wasn't expecting that so quick, like he wasn't real. I don't know. Like it was real quick out of the gate, and then bam, it was like, holy shit. Like he just flew over and it was off,
Yep. I do want to give one shout out to who I think is the best announcer in the country, Frank Miramati. And I don't want to speak for him. I have no idea what was going through his head, but he's calling the race. And for a second, he looks back to see how Irad's doing. And I think what he was doing was like, if he's critically injured, he can't get off the track, and we're going to have to stop this race. So I think he was checking for a half second to see, okay, is this going to be a situation where we're going to call the race? Because imagine if he's seriously hurt, they can't finish that race. And trying to get those horses pulled up and out of the way, it would have been scary. But our buddy Ricky was at the track, and he said basically 4 like paramedic type guys, once they quickly realized, okay, it's not like a neck injury or whatever, they just picked him up and moved him. So good on them, because look, you got like a minute and a half to move a human being who might be really hurt without hurting him more, without putting him in more danger. So a great job by Frank kind of calling that out and telling the people, hey, it's going to be okay. We're going to finish it. He said, hey, they got him moved, and then good on the people for getting him out of the way.
Yeah, the live was like, oh shit, this is bad.
I thought it was bad. Yeah.
Like he's out. I mean, for a while,
Yeah.
And so the fact that he's like, he's good and he's riding, like that's insane to me.
Like I said, he literally just won the 8th race as we were recording here at Kentucky Downs. So this happens on a Sunday, and now he's at Kentucky Downs here on Thursday winning races. It's incredible when you think of it.
So this was the shot I took from the overhead. And
it's crazy.
This is Mindframe, guys. Okay. This is Irad. And this is Zayas, okay? So Zayas is between horses. He's between horses. He's on essentially fully on Wide Barrio, and nobody's riding Mind Frame. That's just an insane shot. Like, I posted this on Twitter and Facebook. Facebook one just went nuclear. And there are a lot of people that didn't even see the race, and the comments were like, what am I looking at here? Like, I can't even understand what's happened, And to be fair, I didn't either. You even watching it, you're like, holy shit, did that really just happen? And to kind of go full circle back to the DQ, which it was one of those things, like you said, like we've seen worse. But based on what we've been seeing this summer at Del Mar and Saratoga, it was as easy as they've all been to know that was going to, certainly with the optics of what also happened with IRED going down and, of course, being on Mind Frame, all that stuff. But, again, like you said, it's not like haven't seen worse. It's just given where we're at now with the game, that was a pretty easy DQ.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when all that happened, there had to be a DQ. And I am curious, and of course we'll never know, but if, there's just some bumping and then they straighten out and they go, I bet they wouldn't have done anything. Like, again, you got to DQ in that spot. You gotta have days in that spot. You just have to, because it's a miracle. Nothing worse happened here. Right. But again, I have seen more, harmful moves or whatever you want to call it, that, everybody stays up and they don't really do anything. So, especially early in the race. But it just hats off to Ortiz, man. I don't know how he did it, and I don't know how he kept from getting seriously hurt. Just amazing.
Yeah, it was insane. And the fact, like you said, the fact that he damn near got hit, you could see it right at the very end. He attempts to hop back on Mind Frame. He literally was trying, and if he would have pulled that off, because he obviously kept Zayas, up.
Yeah.
If he would have done that, and it was extremely impressive. Just like as he's coming over, he grabs him to keep him from falling all the way over. If he hadn't done that, then there'd have been two jockeys off basically. And then as he's going back, he pulls him back and then tries to hop back on Mind Frame, and couldn't quite get it done. But yeah, it was totally insane. And I don't know. So moving past it, we'll try. Mind Frame for me was, at least going into the weekend, was a horse that I was like, you know what? Don't know, but he's beaten Sierra Leone, right? A couple times. He's a horse that I still think could potentially be like freaky good, and he could potentially win the Classic. And like you said, now, while it still might be true, it certainly is a lot tougher to kind of come up with that conclusion, given we didn't get to see him run here.
Yeah, I think for someone like you who's been, I like him, but you love him. And you've been right on him a lot. And when you've been wrong on him, it hasn't really been. He looked like the best horse in a couple of those races. It did some things that lost. But anyway, I want to ask you this, because I truly believe if he would have ran this race, would have won, say runs like a 110 buyer, I think you may have picked him in the Classic. But now, what, as his bigger fan of the two, what do you think now?
Well, I kind of am with where Manlow is going with, and this is kind of the thought I was, because obviously going into the weekend, I'll just be honest, I thought Mind Frame, and obviously I think it's pretty clear, especially considering Nisos, was in the race.
Yeah,
Fierceness was not going to win, and Mind Frame was likely to win. At least it was just my opinion. So going into it, I thought, gosh, if we can get another loss out of Fierceness and say it's not the prettiest of losses, now he maybe becomes bettable in the Classic, because if they run him there. So now, kind of flip the script. I don't really know if I want to touch Fierceness, although I'll use him, like I said earlier, because he's Fierceness. But Mind Frame might become way more attractive of a price because of this incident, and obviously, with these with the Fiercenesses and even Sierra Leone and Sovereignty, and we'll see about journalism. But I could see him being 6, 7, 8 to 1 in the Classic after that. Because we don't know.
I agree with you. I think people, when they see that on the past performances, they do get a little bit scared, and that's reasonable, absolutely reasonable. I'm not as worried. Like, I don't really think it'll take a lot out of him, honestly, mentally. It's just more for me of like, okay, now it sounds like we don't have a prep. And I don't love that. I don't love hey, the last race we finished was in late June, and now we're running in the Breeders' Cup Classic.
Yeah. I guess on the flip side, he ran awfully good off of the last layoff, right? You know, I think wasn't there he ran earlier in the year, and then there was a decent layoff going into that Churchill Downs race, wasn't there? And God, he ran huge that day, getting a different distance and everything. But yeah, maybe Pletcher gets some some pretty heavy duty workouts in him. And again, like at least he ran. Like had he scratched from the race due to like say a NISO situation, scratches from the race because of foot issue, that's back-to-back races, although the first scratch was because Fierceness was in the race. But say that's back-to-back scratches for him, and then they're like, oh, we're just going to train up to the Derby or to the Classic. Then you're like really worried, right? Because now you're like, I don't even know if he's healthy enough. Here it's like, he's healthy. That's what jockey fell off.
By the way, do you think they wished they didn't scratch him that day?
As I said that, while I was saying it, I was like, oh man, don't you know? They scratched the wrong horse. Fierceness, sucks. And then he goes out west. He wins. And now they got him mind frame right where they want him, apparently. And he runs about 100 yards and the jockey falls off. So,
jeez.
Life comes at you fast in this game.
It does.
It's never fair, but
back to what I was saying. I've been in it too long and watched too many now. I can't say I was shocked by any of it last weekend.
Very fair. Very fair. All right, guys, that is a look at the two big races over the weekend. The Pacific Classic won by Fierceness, and I think it gets kind of lost in it that there was a winner of this race of the Jockey Club, and it was Antiquarian. I think he showed that he's got when he runs that kind of race, he's at the very least competitive, and I think he's in the mix. If he won the Classic, I think that would be pretty impressive. But I certainly think he could run well in the Classic because he has been a horse that's had talent for a while. It just kind of been a nutcase, but gets the job done here. We'll see what happens moving forward. Wild weekend coming up next. We'll look at Kentucky Downs this coming weekend. Yeah, that was wild. Like I sent that to like all my friends and family. I was like, I know, like if you don't just watch this for like 10 seconds.
Yeah.
And they're like, holy shit, is he okay? Like, is he like hurt? And it's like, have you ever seen that? Like, I can say I've never seen a jockey ride another horse in a race. That I can say.
Samich was like, I wish with all I had that he would have got back on somehow and went and won. That would have been incredible.
It'd been the greatest win of all time.
Yeah, but I think I can't say this I'm 99% sure. I think he would have got disqualified because if you touch another horse, if you're a jockey and you touch another horse with like, say you accidentally touch a horse, you're out. You're disqualified. I would think jumping on one, even though it's not your fault, would be a disqualification.
That would be low key awesome though. Like,
it would.
Even if you got DQ'd, that would suck. But you're like, if say Mindframe, all that happened, Mindframe wins by like somewhat easy of a win, gets DQ'd, but part of you would be like, yeah, that's right. Did you see what the horse just did?
Yeah, exactly. Would have been amazing.
Did you? I didn't see it. If you did, what'd you think of it?
The green flash. No, you did. That was Motorious, wasn't it? Wasn't
it
the green flash? Yeah.
I thought, yeah, that was bullshit.
You thought it was a bad DQ? I thought it was a good DQ.
I don't know. I just don't like the way it all is going, honestly.
Listen.
Like I like, again, like I said earlier, it's kind of like it's based on what we've seen.
Yes.
And I text you the same thing. I was like, that's the right call. But I hate it. Like
100% agree. If you're going to do that, like what you did earlier in the season, then at Del Mar, then that has to come down. But do I think that really should be a disqualification? No, I do not.
Correct. Exactly. And that's kind of where I'm at with it. Like, you and I were texting, and I was like, yeah, well, he's coming down. I mean, that's no brainer.
Yeah,
but I hate it. You know.
Yep.
It again. We've had a very slippery slope, and they're trying to protect the horses, and I guess, and yeah, I don't know.
100% agree. Yep.
Yeah, that's just it.
Yep.
There's these things happen all the time in these races, and what really gets me annoyed is if it's at Del Mar or Saratoga, and that also happens at Remington Park. It's not going down at Remington, it's not coming down at Remington, but it's coming down at Saratoga.
Yeah.
Just I don't know. There's no consistency with it.
I think at Del Mar they set like you said, a very stupid and dangerous standard early in the meet, and they're going to have to take those horses down that do that. So,
and that's just it. Like you kind of hope that, and that's my issue with these issues. It's like there's so many cases where it's like, well, if that horse, why did that horse not get bumped up too? Because he also impeded that horse, but because that horse finished ahead of him, then we change it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But there's times where a horse maybe finished different spot, but he obviously was part of it too. Why did he not get taken back?
Yep.
So it just has become way too, one, too ticky tack, and two, kind of like we're making too many assumptions with it.
The moral of the story with when horses are coming out of the gate, it better be really bad, or you better leave it alone, because when they come out of the gate, shit like that can happen. It just does. Now, if it's horrific, say it's Bayern, like in the Breeders Cup Classic, I get it, but it better be that level. And these haven't been, but here we are.
Yeah, I did, right? Didn't they finally do it?
The jockey stuff did get settled. I think today and tomorrow's card it's going to be pretty. I mean, tonight is horrific. I think tomorrow's card is going to be decently better, but still kind of bad. But I think by the weekend we're going to be good.
What race was it? Race 4 or 3?
Yeah, you want to tune into race 3 today at Remington Park. We're going to have a walkover. It's a 1-horse race. So there you go.
Automatic winner. We're guaranteeing that he wins. Well, I guess we can't guarantee it. He may not finish the race.
So yeah, there's a walkover in race 3. There's a match race, just 2 horses in race 9. And I believe it's the 6th race has 3 horses.
So did you say there was like 30 some horses and
yeah, what did I say? There's like 34 horses or 37 running in 9 races today. Yeah. So tomorrow's card looks better, and I think by the weekend, I think we're gonna be okay.
34 in 9 races. That's what you said earlier.
And when I text John White this, and I said, why in the hell did they not settle this in time? We all knew what was going to happen. Just settle it so you don't ruin any of your cards, right? Instead, we're going to ruin 2 race cards, and then we're going to do the exact same thing that we could have done and could have had actual racing tonight.
You're going to lose. They lost. I guarantee you they're losing a ton of handle. I mean, there's no one to bet, right? I mean, of course they are.
I can't imagine. I mean, people will bet it, I'm sure, tonight, but I just can't imagine very many.
All right, guys, time for rapid fire presented by, listen, I did this because we're doing all Kentucky Downs. So why else would we not present this by the Racing Dude Somo Bombs, who earlier today at Kentucky Downs cashes in for a $25K pick 5 off of a $144 ticket. I will post more info on that on the site later on this evening. But yeah, the Somo Bombs that Mike Somich puts out, Kentucky Downs. He does them for all the race days at Kentucky Downs. He turned a $144 pick 5 into a $25K payout. That was today. So make sure you get your hands on his upcoming Kentucky Downs plays for this week, for Saturday. We'll see who he likes. That's got to be his biggest hit.
I believe it is. Yeah. And he was very calm about it, which I thought was weird today. But yeah, no, it is a huge hit, and kind of a no doubt finish too. I think he used 3 horses. I think they ran 1-2 or maybe 1-2-4, something like that. So yeah, no, great job by him. He had the $52 winner in the first leg, and that was the big one. The other 4 horses, you kind of get to them, but that first one was really, really tough, and he was able to get to that one and then was able to cash in.
I will post the ticket and the payout and all that details later on the website. We'll look for, if you're on Twitter or whatever, I'll post it on all our social accounts as well. But huge hit, so make sure you get those. But let's see who we are going with for Saturday racing. We're focusing on 4 races on the Saturday card at Kentucky Downs. Kentucky Downs, always just an insane day, fun racing, tough racing. Race 7 will kick things off here. FanDuel TV Mint Millions Invitational Grade 3. $2.5 million on the line, 1 mile on the turf. Huge field of 13. Your favorite as of now is all the way to the outside, number 13, Laganos. I can't imagine. He's no way this horse is running again, right?
Oh, he's running. He's running. He's definitely running in this race, man. If you like Kentucky Downs, you got to run, man. Come on. Yeah, Laganos will be here. Too short of a price for me to take him, but he did run extremely well last week. I had him on top last week, so I'm going to go away from him here. I went number 7, Brilliant Birdie, on top in this spot. Kind of a win machine. 7 wins out of 11 lifetime starts. I do like the price. Obviously, 8-1 is good on this Cherie DeVoe runner. Also won the Gun Runner here last year on this day last year, basically. We're going to talk about the Gun Runner here in a second for this year's version. So has a win here. That's always important. Has pretty good early speed. That's been very important at this meet so far. So number 7, Brilliant Birdie for me.
Yeah, I kind of, I mean, I just like Lego. He ran on the 28th was the day, so a week ago basically, and yeah, he's coming back. He ran huge, definitely a career high number. I'm going against as well, drawn to the outside, and off the short rest. I'm going to go against. I'm going with the 3 here, Halterman. Cairo ran the Arlington Million last out. Ran okay, ran 5th. Not the greatest of races just overall. But prior to that was going 1.25 miles as well. Prior to that, in the Queen Anne at Ascot, ran a good 3rd, has ran 2nd in a great Group 2 overseas in Great Britain. Like, this has been a solid horse that's ran well in bigger races and now cuts back at a distance I think the horse will run well in. Give the horse another shot here. Kind of a wild card for a 12-1. I don't know we'll get 12-1 on him, but yeah, give me a price here with the 3. Do you like this one at all?
I do. I like this one. I talked about this one a little bit as well. He can't be as bad as what he was in Arlington Million. I did not think that was a very good race. He's used to kind of these conditions more so than some of the other ones. I thought the 3 was interesting. I think he'll bounce back, run a little bit better here. I also thought the 9 coming from overseas, Point Linus, could be interesting as well. So 3, 9, 7, and the 1. That's kind of where I was looking there.
Yeah, the 9 was just kind of being the European, another European invader I liked a little bit as well. I just kind of like those new shooters in these kind of races.
Yep.
And I think from a distance standpoint, we'll have no concern with kind of a funky track like Kentucky Downs. All right, let's go to the next one, race 8, the Exacta Systems Gun Runner, $2 million, 1 mile on the turf for 3-year-old. Another large field. That's going to be the case for all these. Field of 14. With you got New Century at 5-1, 4-1 on Namaron for the new runner for Sadler. Pratt has in the irons for that one. Clever Gins in here at 8-1. I take your shot. Where are you going?
I went with the European shipper here in this one. I'm going to go number 1, Namaron on top. Sadler gets this horse for the first time. 3 out of 5 overseas, and now getting, like I said, do Sadler, and now Flavian Pratt jumps aboard. I like that. The other part of this pick was I don't love a lot of our horses from the United States in here too much. I do think Clever again has a little bit of a chance. He does have early speed. I think that'll help. Rolando is a horse I nearly picked, but I think if Namaron is pretty decent, I think he's going to get the job done. And again, the big thing for me, Pratt getting aboard kind of says, yeah, this horse, they think he's live. So give me the number 1, Namaron.
Yeah, Clever again is kind of a wild card. He could do. I mean, he ran well enough in his turf debut. I thought last out, Zulu Kingdom. Of course, that was the 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 DQ, but ran third to Zulu Kingdom is never terrible for your turf debut, and so I think he could run well here and run better than last time out. But I'm with you. I'm on the same horse. John Sadler, Pratt team up, and I think that's a good sign that Sadler gets a new horse here, and then clearly for the idea, I would you buy the horse or you get the horse from overseas. You buy the horse. Now you come here. I mean, I think that was probably the plan, right? To run this horse in this spot, and here he goes, and he gets Pratt in the irons as well. This horse has only lost 2 times, but has ran good in both the losses as well. I think he's going to be good. He's ran longer and won it longer. Finished second by a close second in a mile last out in a Group 3. So I think he'll be good here, and getting Sadler certainly doesn't hurt as well. And I think a big case for me too is just who else, like you're kind of, New Century, I guess. That wasn't great. And cutting back could be a key, but there's not a lot to go on, in this race.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. And like, I wouldn't be shocked if New Century wins, but just not running well enough for me. Like I said, Rolando, I kind of like him, but moving up a little bit. I don't hate Clever again in this spot really. But I couldn't do it. So to me, it's like, okay, if the European runner is, if he can run, he should beat these horses. Like there's not any world beaters in this one.
I do like New Century. Like I will be using him because his mile efforts have been decent. He did win the grade 1 summer. He got 4th in the juvenile turf. His form this year, or as a 3-year-old, hasn't been awesome. Really, to be putting it lightly. But he's also been running in 3 straight grade 1 races, all going a mile and 16th, mile and 8th. Going long. So he's kind of going back to his old ways. So that's certainly going to help. Again, though, 5-1 on him. I don't know. Like I think it's between those two, the 1 and New Century. Past that, then I'm okay with getting beat. So,
yep.
I think that's kind of the way I looked at the race. Let's go to race 10, the Ainsworth Franklin Simpson Stakes. It's grade 1 or $2 million, going 6.5 furlongs on the turf for 3-year-olds. Field of 12 in this one, 7-2 on Spiced Up for Bill Mott, 4-1 on Governor Sam, 6-1 on Chasing Liberty, 6-1 on Dream On, 6-1 on Troubleshooting. Where are you going? Are you going shorter price? Or are you going price hunting here?
I do love Governor Sam. So I'm going to go number 7, Governor Sam, on top on this one. Disappointing that he lost last time out, no doubt about it. But listen, like we said, speed is really, really doing well here at Kentucky Downs. And I do think Governor Sam has got a lot of speed. I do think he is the one that's going to get to the front, and they're going to have to catch him. I like that Irad is aboard here as well. He's been aboard in the last couple of races when I thought he's ran his best. So I like that. Weaver horses obviously run well in turf sprints. We know that. I hate kind of going a little bit of a shorter price again, but I do think number 7, Governor Sam, is the one to beat in this one.
Do you know who beat Governor Sam last out?
I know, Spiced Up.
Spiced Up to his outside. That's where I am heading here. I think this is a horse that struggled on to break the maiden a couple starts, but then switched to the turf and has been awesome. Yes. Really has been awesome. Last win at Saratoga was a grade 3 in the Honey. Just kind of cruised by him. This is a horse, like you said, that is going to come from a little bit off of it versus Governor Sam. It'll be forwardly placed. So that is the kind of the trade-off, if you like. Yes, he beat him last time out, but maybe he has a pace advantage here. But to me, this is a horse that's just kind of trending in the right direction on turf. And really the 2 wins haven't been necessarily oh, I don't know, like that you got it done here, but I don't know if he can get it done. He's won with Lasix, he's won without Lasix. I like Spiced Up quite a bit here. I think 7-2. Hopefully we can get somewhere around there. I think we will. I'm with Max. I thought Mibago was interesting from a pace standpoint. This horse can sometimes every time gets loose. Can the horse actually get the job done in a race like this? Hasn't been able to do so in the past.
Yeah, cutting back is going to be interesting for twofold. Can he hold on now that he's cutting back? But can he get the lead after getting the lead going 8 furlongs? Can he get it in a turf sprint? It's 2 very different things. So I was intrigued by Mibago. I've always kind of liked him, so I'm with you. I think I like him a little bit. I like Antisocial a little bit as well.
Yeah.
That's a horse that's got a shot. I like the number 4 Dream On a little bit as well. Another horse that's cutting back. Yeah, you just I wouldn't talk anybody off Mibago. I'm very curious because he's been pretty quick, like ahead a couple links at times, going 2 turns. Maybe he can get the lead going 6.5.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Irad, on the mount with Mibago switches over to Governor Sam, who also has ridden the last 2 starts.
Yep.
Now, consolation prize, you get Flavian Pratt on the 9, so not too bad there. So yeah, I mean, it will be interesting to see. I think the numbers have been a little light on him as well on the 9, so was a little bit of a concern of mine. Hasn't ran anything huge. Has ran a couple in the 80s. That's it. Whereas I feel like Spiced Up and even Governor Sam seem to be a little more trending up in that department. So where I went, number 8, Spiced Up at 7-2. All right, last one here. Let's go to the main event. Well, I mean, really, it is the main event because it is a Breeders' Cup winning you're in. Race number 11, the Kentucky Turf Cup Invitational, Group 2 or Grade 2, $2.5 million for 3-year-olds and up. It is a winning you're in for the Breeders' Cup Turf. So you got a 1.5 mile race. Huge field of 11. Winner gets a Breeders' Cup ticket. Where are you going?
I really like the number 10 Corruption in this spot. I think he's going to get loose on the lead. I think you can take him gate to wire. I like the price of 6-1. Look, I think the whole key is how comfortable can he get up front? And if he gets comfortable, I think he can hold off a Grand Sonata or a Fort Washington or even a Mercanti. I think he's got the capability of doing it. He went 12 furlongs in an allowance race at Gulfstream, was able to win. He then went 12 furlongs in the Pan American, a grade 3 race, just barely lost to a pretty nice horse. Last time out at Saratoga, he goes 11 furlongs. He goes gate to wire and allowance and just dominates. I think he can do it. I think he's got to get up to the lead. I love that Jose Ortiz is aboard. I think he'll get the trip. I'm going to go number 10 Corruption to pull off the mild upset.
I like that horse. I thought about that horse for a while. I think the price is nice. I'm going similar as far as price goes, and that's the 5 Mercante. My concern with him is, and I think that's how any of them are, is how far will they want to go? Who will kind of carry this the whole way? And hasn't ran at Kentucky Downs, hasn't ran this long. Those are the concerns, right? Now the positives, he damn near won the Grade 1 Turf Classic at Churchill Downs, going 1 mile and 1/8, and Spirit of St. Louis ran him down. Followed that out with winning at Churchill Downs in the Grade 3 Arlington, wins that one. Last out after a little bit of a break, didn't run superior, but he certainly is capable of running an improved race. So I like how he's forwardly placed. This is a horse that just kind of shows up. And so I'm giving the horse another shot because of the being forwardly placed. And look at the way these two, Nippenberg and Ramos, 6 times they've ran together, 67% winners. So I think that, this horse has got to be live. Give me the 5 Mercante.
Yeah, I'm going to use him as well. I've had good luck with Mercante. Last time out, I don't really blame that loss on him. I think he's going too short. So I like him as well.
How crazy? Well, I don't think it's not crazy because I almost picked the 8 Old Crazy Bone. Mike Baker with the old classic, hey, let's claim a horse and let's run him long on the turf, and gets Flavian Pratt to jump on here, I think is a great sign. I just mentioned how I, didn't run, like this horse did run well in that race last back, ran the second by a head. But again, this is a horse that was claimed, 3 back, 2 back, and then has ran well. And now he shows up here. He's definitely I think he'll be okay at the distance. Just a matter of if Old Maker can get him to win a race like this.
Old Crazy Bone, love the name. God, I love the name. Yeah, no, I'm with you. I almost in the preview, I was like, man, I thought about this one for a while because Maker claiming one, like you said, and running them along on the turf. That is a move as old as time, right? And he does such a good job. And my favorite maybe horse name ever, Old Crazy Bone. I don't know, man. That's a good name. That's a good one.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, so I saw someone you win and you lose in the Breeders' Cup Turf. Anyone serious in this race?
No.
No, I don't think so either. But
No.
they run it anyways. So there is a trend, right? If you win a Breeders' Cup race or a prep even at Kentucky Downs, you're not winning the Breeders' Cup.
Exactly. Even Cogburn could not go win the Breeders' Cup after winning a race here. But you know what? These horses are running for huge purses and races they can actually win. So this is their Breeders' Cup. What's coming up here on Saturday, right? So, but no, yeah, I'm sure Kentucky Downs would love to see that trend broken, but I don't think it's going to happen from anybody in this field.
Well, oddly enough, that day when Cogburn won at Kentucky Downs, I thought, well, if he can win here, he can win anywhere. There's no way. Like he's different. He's gonna win. He's no way he loses the Breeders' Cup. Well,
yeah, he never won again.
He never won again.
He only raced one other time. So
there you go, guys. There is a look at the Kentucky Downs card. Of course, we'll have the full card analysis, premium and free plays on Saturday at racingdudes.com. How do you approach Kentucky Downs handicapping versus other tracks? Like, do you give that horse that you normally wouldn't a shot at Kentucky Downs?
Yeah, I think the first thing I look for is have they ran at Kentucky Downs, right? And so that's the biggest difference. I'm not a big horse for course guy unless it's a place like that because it's just truly unique. And so you do that, and after the first day of racing there at Kentucky Downs, I just look for horses that have speed. That's the next thing. They don't have to be on the lead. They need to be in that first flight. So those are the two big things. And honestly, I'm having probably the best meet I've ever had there because those two things have kind of held up, right? I watch the weather because rain will change that course. But if you watch Kentucky Downs, that track is like dry. Like there are brown spots in it. And it usually doesn't look like that. So I think the lack of rain has really made it play to horses that need to be towards the front.
Yeah, it's making it that, yeah, you have the undulations, but it makes those like that mile race is really like a mile and mile and a 16th because of how the track plays and how thick it is and all that. Now it's playing a little more, maybe a little more fair than years, but at least that's a theory, right?
I also think like better jockeys are there now, so you're still seeing long shots. Like I'm not trying to sit there and say, oh, the long shots don't win there anymore. You're not seeing as many. Like I don't know that. Okay, they're all 15-1. Okay, let's look at. I don't know if that's as prevalent as it used to be. That strategy used to be every race there, right? But it's been a little formful this year.
And then there's not look at today, right?
Totally. Yeah.
It's like formful 50-1 so you kind of, and that's the tough part about, Kentucky Downs is knowing which races, or at least predicting which races are not going to be formful.
Yeah.
Which sometimes is impossible.
Well, like for example, like Samich, putting together 5 races is still extremely difficult. So you get paid $25,000 when you do it, right? But I've been able to put together some doubles and pick threes easier this year than I have in years past, is what I would say. So, but yeah, you're going to have to get to that, 15-1 shot 1 out of 5 instead of 4 out of 5 races. Yeah. That's how I feel about it,
But man, the prices are so good there and the payouts are good. And it's just, it really is what feels like here lately, one of the best tracks that has betters in mind. Right. But now obviously it's insane. It's so tough of a track, but at least, when you hit something, you're going to get paid for it. So,
well, here's just an example. Like the Rockets hit the pick 3 for races 3, 4, and 5. This is one of them that they hit. So yeah, the first leg you did have a 15-1 shot win, but it was Flavian Pratt Mike Maker. So it's not like that was the hardest 15-1 shot to get to. So you start off with that, right? And then you get a 3-2 shot in the 4th race, and then you get a 3-1 shot in the 5th race. And the 50-cent pick 3 pays $216. And you had logical long shot, favorite, win, the sequence.
Yeah.
That's an amazing payout. You're not getting that at another track is what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, like it's similar to like a Breeders' Cup Day or something into that nature, where it's like, hey, just getting 3 races in a row is a reward because of how spread people. And I think that's too is like people do spread so much in these races because they're assuming like there's no way it's going to go formful.
Mm-hmm.
So the payouts are better, right? So yeah, I mean, I think it's a great track to play, and if you can go, it's we've never been. I think it's getting better now for me. I used to have no interest in going. I think it's getting better. It seems like they're kind of picking up on the technology aspect of things there, where I'm like, all right, I could see myself going and having, you know what I mean? Like, and actually being able to watch and like know where they're at on the track and all those things. Yeah. I think I could see myself going now.
Well, I'll tell you this, and we talked about it off the air a little bit, but we were talking about it. Ever since we saw the first race in the camera situation, it was a huge turnoff for me because I want to be able to feel like I know where the horses I bet, where are they? And I just felt before this season, I never really knew, and it's like, this isn't enjoyable. Correct. I want to watch it. But now it's like, oh, I can see exactly what's going on. I've got a great feel for it. And I'm sympathetic to them. I know that is a tough thing to do, but they up their game on the camera department. It looks great. Like I can follow the races there just as good as anywhere, if not better now. I almost kind of wish other tracks would kind of adopt a little bit of what they're doing. You can really get a good grasp of what's going on.
Oh yeah. The like I said, the camera mixture with the little like showing on the map where how much track is left is like night and day what we used to get. So it makes it a lot more enjoyable. All right, guys, that's all the time we have. Check us out over at the website at racingdudes.com for our free and premium selections. Make sure you go check out the premium products page. You can get your hands on any of our premium picks, Kentucky Downs. Solo bombs are sold there. So if you want to get your plays in for Saturday, see if Samash can do something similar again, that's where you go to get them. There has been some updates on the site. We've added some different pages. We got a Breeders' Cup page. We've got more results that are testimonials, betting Bible page, all that kind of good stuff to help you guys learn more about what we do over at the site. So make sure you go check out the website at racingdudes.com. We're on Twitter at racing_dudes, Instagram and Facebook. Just search Racing Dudes. We're on YouTube. Just search Racing Dudes as well. Make sure you hit that like, notification, and subscribe. It helps us out big time. Go if you want to listen to the podcast version of this, meaning on Apple, Spotify, Google, all the places that podcasts are offered. We're on there as well. Just search Blinkers Off or Racing Dudes. Dudes You Bet was on earlier this week. Magic Mike will be on tomorrow. That's all I got.
Do you think Magic Mike will be on tomorrow? That's the question.
I'm starting just going with they are, and if they're not, then that's whatever. But I guess we can just say they're scheduled to be on Fridays.
Yeah. That's
all I know.
Yeah. We'll see if they make it or not. We'll see if the baby is on or not. It seems like it's 50-50 usually on that as well. But yeah, I think the plan is, Kentucky Downs, they usually have that show. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
All right. Vikings kick off the flag football season on Saturday morning. So we'll see how the season that goes there, or the Vikings this year. Looking to kind of get back after just a heartbreaker last season. So the Vikings will be back early mornings, 9:30.
Ooh,
on Saturday morning. That's not awesome, but
no, sounds awful.
Get the kids some coffee and some Red Bulls. We'll be good to go.
So. There you go. Purple jerseys.
So we don't have them yet, so that's fun. Supposed to have tomorrow or the morning, like Saturday morning, but I believe they are purple and black, like they're reversible.
Okay.
So you have a home and away essentially, and I think one side's purple. One side might be white, which would be sick.
Okay.
Like white would be cool, but
cool.
And then Coop, he's on a different team this year. He because he's on like his age division this year instead of playing together. He's on the Bucks, so we got the Buccaneers for him.
That's a good jersey.
Yeah, so he's excited about that. Although he kind of could care less, honestly, if he plays or not.
Well, at least he's gonna have a cool looking jersey.
He had practice. He scheduled practice what day was Tuesday, and he's like, I'm tired. I don't really want to go. So I was like, okay.
It always seemed like he was just like, oh, I'll just go because my brother's playing. And now that he's not on his brother's team, maybe he doesn't want to do it.
Yeah, he's not like again. He was always the one who was like, hey, what time? Who's got snacks? What's the snack schedule like?
Right.
I need to know who's bringing what and when. Whereas
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, he gets to a cool jersey, and that's about it, right?
Yeah.
He's they're so different. Cohen is. Honestly, Cooper's got talent. Like he can juke and he's quick and but he doesn't have that. He doesn't care.
Yeah, he didn't want to do it.
Put it simple. Yeah. Cohen, if Cohen makes a mistake, he kills him. Right? He's got to fix it. He wants to all the get better. And Cooper's just like, yeah, that's cool. What are we having for dinner?
Right.
So,
yeah.
I think we could all use a little bit of that in us.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes.
Maybe he could use a little less of it, but
yeah,
we'll get there one day. But all right, guys, we'll see how if and when the Buccaneers have a game. But definitely the Vikings. Vikings on Saturday. They played
Buccaneers are in question.
They played 8:30, which is even
Oh,
worse.
God. Well, he's smarter than both y'all because he said, "Hell with that. I ain't getting up at 8:30 on a Saturday. College game day's on. Why do I want to go do that?"
I know. Be like, that's why I'm like, yeah, you sure you want to play? You sure? Yeah. I'll still get you the jersey. All right, guys, it's gonna be it for us. I'm Jared Welch. He's Aaron Halterman. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Blinkers Off. Join our horse racing community at racingdudes.com and follow us on Twitter at racing_dudes. Want to make money betting horses? Bet with the Racing Dudes.